ASUS isn't the name that we always associate with smartphones, perhaps more with computers, but this is the ZenFone 4, and it's worth paying attention to, mainly because of these two camera lenses at the top. Now we know what you're thinking, you've seen these many times before. It produces that blurred background effect, right? Well, no, not so much in this case. ASUS has decided to take out a leaf out of LG's book, and these lenses produce wide angle shots, and it's a little bit different to what we're used to. So let's have a look at what it can do. We'll go into the gallery and we'll have a look at some of the pictures we've taken before. So this is your standard view that you'll get from the normal 12 megapixel camera, and that's a wide angle shot, same location, but taken with the 8 megapixel wide angle camera. So there's a considerable difference between the two. ASUS also packs this camera with technology. There's optical image stabilization, there's 4K video recording, there's face detection autofocus, there's tons of stuff. The front camera also takes pretty good selfies, and it does that using a selfie app, and within the camera itself there's a selfie mode with a lot of beautification effects, if that's your thing. Now we're looking at the front. You can see this doesn't quite pull off the same trick as we're seeing from many other smartphones over the last year, which is minimizing the bezels. Sure, they're not very thick at the side, but they're absolutely enormous at the top and the bottom. Certainly when you compare it to something like the OnePlus 5T, then there's a lot of difference between the screens and the bezels. This is a 5.5 inch screen with a 1080p resolution. It runs Android 7.1.1, but it uses ASUS's ZenUI over the top. It's their own user interface, and it's fine, but it's not the most pleasant experience. Little things just tend to frustrate, particularly if you're used to regular Android. For example, to clear the notifications, you'd normally see a little button down here, but no, ASUS has put it right at the top up here, and if you don't know what you're looking for, it's easy to miss. Otherwise, the system looks fairly as we'd expect from a third-party user interface. That's a little fingerprint sensor below the screen here, which works nice and fast and also has various different features for zipping you back to the main menu, just like a home button. The phone is relatively thick at just under 8mm. This is a glass rear panel, and it produces this really cool sort of starburst effect that's centered around the ASUS logo. We really like that. It's a great little touch. This is also a Gorilla Glass 5 rear panel, the same glass that's over the top of the screen, so it's fairly tough, but there is a useful case that comes in the box. The price for this is $400 in the US, but considerably more expensive in the UK. It's good value, certainly in regard to the camera. We've had some fun shooting with that, although it does struggle in low light. However, for the price, we think it's decent value. However, we'll come back to this, the OnePlus 5T, which is only a little bit more expensive and vastly superior, not just in its modern design, but also in power. This has the latest Snapdragon processor inside, whereas the ASUS phone makes do with an older and slower Snapdragon 660. However, if you're looking for a phone that's much less than $500 that still does something interesting with the camera and isn't exactly the same as every other phone out there, the ASUS ZenFone 4 is worth a look.